Welcome back to the Cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still bouncing from this crucial area of support as the price is still trying to play out this oversold signal in the immediate short term, but we're now starting to be drawn towards this major liquidation level in the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, which is a risk that we need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Ethereum, which is now starting to possibly confirm this new bullish divergence, repeating history in the price chart, while the price of Chainlink is also now still forming this bullish divergence, getting closer towards adding some confirmation, confirming the bullish divergence. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and right now the super trend indicator is still flashing this warning signal, basically a flip from green to red, and the last time we saw that flip was the beginning or near the beginning of the 2022 bear market after the top was already in. So keep that in mind. This is a major warning signal to pay attention to, but as always, just because we saw a 1 year bear market last time, it doesn't guarantee we're going to see the exact same thing this time around, but it is of course a warning signal, a bearish signal to pay attention to. But as of recording this video, it's not yet confirmed. We still need to actually confirm the weekly candle close in the price of Bitcoin here below around 96,000. And in case you're wondering, this next weekly candle close confirms in just a few hours from now, around 8 hours from now, as of recording this video. By the time you're watching this video, probably about 7 hours from now. So basically midnight UTC Sunday night is when this weekly candle close confirms. And if it's sitting well below 96,000, then in that situation, of course, they'll confirm this flip in the super trend indicator on the weekly Bitcoin price chart for the first time in many years. But with that being said, we've already been playing out for the last 1 month now, already been playing out this massive bearish divergence in the price of Bitcoin between the price and the RSI. Obviously higher highs in the price, lower highs in the RSI on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, telling us to not expect any significant bullish momentum anytime soon, and instead we're most likely going to see a lack in bullish momentum and a lot of weakness for the price, which means at best some sideways price action, but most likely a bit more of a pullback in the coming weeks or months. That sort of time frame, weeks or months, expect a lot of weakness, lacking bullish momentum, quite likely seeing a bit of bearish price action. And once again, that's exactly what I've been saying every day for a month now on the channel, since basically we reconfirmed the bearish divergence at that new all-time high. Every day since pretty much the all-time high, I've been warning about this major weakness coming, a potential pullback coming soon, and this is likely going to continue at least over the coming weeks, most likely a period of months. So keep that in mind. Any bullish price action that we see, at least as of right now, is just short-term bullish price action, not a lot of strength in the market. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, right now the price of Bitcoin is still holding this crucial area of support. So at least for now, in the shorter term, this is acting as major support for the price, and we'll likely continue to hold this area just in the short term for the next few days or so. And this area that I'm talking about is in between around 92.5k to just above 94,000. So starting at close to 94,000, we have a lot of support around there on the price chart. And in fact, that's based on the golden pocket area of support, which is the most important Fibonacci level or Fibonacci area on the price chart. And the second most important is, of course, the 38.2% Fibonacci level. And that was also a crucial level on the price chart at roughly 106 to 107,000. Once we broke that level, that was a massive bearish signal, which I also talked about back then when we broke that level, and especially when we flipped it into new resistance, failed to get back above 106 to 107,000 and rejected from that level. That was further bearish price structure, pointing towards that next drop that came after that. So right now, once again, we are finding support at roughly 94,000, give or take, and we're likely going to continue to hold that as support, at least in the short term for the coming days, kind of like how we held this support at around 100,000 for roughly around a week, just in the short term. But overall, we're still within the bearish trend, still seeing a lot of weakness if we're talking about multiple weeks or months, which means maybe we hold this support in the shorter term for a few days, maybe a week, but perhaps in a couple of weeks from now, it's possible we could continue the bearish trend later on towards the next support. And if that actually happens, if we first confirm a break below this area of support in between roughly 92 to 94,000, in that situation, and especially if we fail to get back above that support, in that situation, the next target towards the downside or next major area of support to watch out for based on the Fibonacci levels here is sitting at around 85 to 86,000 if we first confirm a break with a daily candle close, for example, below around 92 to 94,000. But obviously there's still opportunities in the market even if the price is bearish. For example, you can short one of these moves the moment we break below a key point of support. You can place a short position, not financial advice, but just revealing a trading strategy that would be profitable during a bearish market. You can short once we break a key level of support and basically hold that short position towards the next key point of support and then take profits ideally just before the support in case we start bouncing slightly before the support with traders front running the support. And so obviously by utilizing a very simple basic trading strategy like that, shorting the moment we break a key level and then taking profits at the next key point of support, that is a trading strategy that so far would have been making some decent money during this pullback and could likely continue to work if, for example, we break below 92 to 94,000. That could be another short position opportunity towards the next support if we first, of course, confirm the break below this area of support. As always, not financial advice. I'm just simply revealing potential trading strategies that could have been working so far very well actually during this pullback, making profit during the pullback. So once again, there's still ways to make money in crypto no matter what the price is doing. You just have to know the right strategies. And if we're zooming into the immediate short term, taking a look at the 6-hour Bitcoin price chart, obviously over the last one day, for the most part, we have seen a very slight bounce and a bit of sideways price action playing out this oversold signal. Obviously with that latest drop off a couple of days ago, we did hit oversold in the 6-hour Bitcoin RSI on the slightly smaller time frames, which is a signal telling us that we're most likely at some sort of low, not the bottom, but some sort of low where we could likely see just a slight little relief for just the short term, maybe a couple of days or so, and then it's possible we could see a continuation of the bearish trend later on. So keep that in mind. This is not a bottom signal, but it is a signal just in the short term telling us to expect a little bit of a break or a bit of a relief from all of the bearish price action. But once again, we are likely going to hold this support for the coming days, but we're still within the bearish trend. So even though these are just short-term signals, of course, don't expect a massive recovery towards all-time highs or a lot of strength in the market. Right now, we're simply not seeing that. We're seeing a lot of weakness in the market, which will likely last for at least a period of weeks, most likely a period of months. And in case we actually see a decent bounce from this support in the short term, which I don't necessarily expect a massive strong bounce, but if we do see a continued bounce here, then expect a lot of resistance coming into play at close to 100,000, around $99,000 to $100,000 per Bitcoin. We have a lot of resistance around there based on previous important support flipping into new resistance. And if you want to trade any of these moves using long positions or short positions, of course short positions in the case of a bearish move, then you can do that over on Pinex. I'll leave a link below the video to Pinex because if you use that link, you can take advantage of some major bonuses here that are only available using that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway or preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well check it out. Once again, first link below the video, where if you simply just deposit $100, you get a $200 bonus on your Pinex account. So basically a 200% deposit bonus. And on top of that, if you deposit just $1,000, you get a $600 deposit bonus. If you deposit these larger amounts, you can get up to 40,000 USD in a bonus, basically money from the exchange, which they basically deposit into your account. And then you can go ahead to use that bonus in order to actually fund and use to trade these grid bots right here, these futures grid bots where you could buy or sell Bitcoin. And so once again, if you want to take advantage of these major deposit bonuses, which are happening for a limited time, check out the first link below the video to Pinex. But if you want to take long positions or short positions on a no KYC exchange, for that, I'll leave a link below this video to 2bit. In fact, the second link below the video will take you to this page right here, where you can also take advantage of some major bonuses using that link. For example, just by depositing and trading crypto, you can get up to 10,000 USDT in trial funder bonuses and 8,000 USDT in actual withdrawable stable coins. So major bonuses here from the exchange just by depositing and trading crypto. And on top of that, without making any deposits or any trades, you can get a free 30 USDT sign up bonus just by making an account using the link below the video. It takes 30 seconds to do that. $30 sign up bonus and 1 month free VIP 3 upgrades. So basically very cheap trading fees along with this bonus right here just by making an account using that link. But unfortunately, if you don't use the links below the video, you can't take advantage of any of these bonuses here. So you might as well check it out using those links. And once again, 2bit is indeed a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, looking at the last 1 month worth of price action, we can see that right now we have a major liquidity level below the price of Bitcoin at roughly 89,000. And so this could potentially draw the price of Bitcoin towards that level, because usually, not always, but usually the price of Bitcoin tends to move towards wherever we have a lot of liquidity, especially if it's relatively close to the price. So for example, if we have a little point of liquidity at 150k, for example, it's unlikely we're going to go there based on that alone. But if we have a major level of liquidity that's kind of close to the price, it is quite likely the price could go towards that level. So keep that in mind. So of course, that suggests that we could potentially break this support sometime soon, which is why I said earlier, of course, this oversold signal and holding this support is only just talking about the immediate short term. Overall, when we're talking about over the next couple of weeks, for example, it's likely we could see a continuation of the bearish trend with another leg down. So keep that in mind. That is a risk that we need to pay attention to. And once again, that can open up a trading opportunity to short a bearish move towards the next support. As always, not financial advice, but check out the links below the video to those exchanges if you want to take advantage of those major bonuses to prepare for that next possible trading opportunity. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, right now the Bitcoin dominance is looking slightly more bearish than it is bullish in the short term, but overall we're not really seeing a lot of momentum in either direction. So we're kind of seeing weak bearish price action, but not significant bearish momentum. So this will likely continue as it has been doing over the last 1 to 2 weeks. So expect just a very slight little cool off like this in the Bitcoin dominance. Is a very likely scenario in the coming days. So not a lot has changed over the last 1 day for the Bitcoin dominance. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, right now the price of ETH is looking like it's about to retest this crucial level of support here, which is sitting at around 3050. So really in between 3,000 to 3.1k, we have some major support there where we have seen multiple important bounces from, and that's also based on the 38.2% Fibonacci level of support, the second most important Fibonacci level of support on the price chart behind the golden pocket. But if we break below roughly 3,000, breaking below the support, especially with a candle close on the daily time frame below that level, and especially if we fail to get back above that level, in that situation we'll likely see a drop down towards roughly 2.6k to 2.7k as the next important area of support. And if we break below all of that area right there, breaking below all of this previous structure in the market that we saw back around May to June 2025, then in that situation the next significant area of support is of course the golden pocket, sitting in between around 2.1k to 2250. So just above 2.2k is where that major support is starting. But once again, in the immediate short term, we could still find some support at roughly 3,000 to 3.1k. That is the immediate support to pay attention to. And if we were to see a further bounce here, in that situation, expect a lot of resistance at roughly around 3650, which is pretty much exactly where the price rejected from. And of course, I warned about that resistance since before we perfectly rejected from that level. So still expect a lot of resistance up there if the price were to actually get back up there. But at least right now, we still have a bullish divergence forming. Now, technically, we saw one very small confirmation signal with one small green candle confirming in the price, confirming this slight higher low in place. But with that being said, we don't really have a lot of confirmation already as of recording this video. The current daily candle is already below or slightly below the previous candle open of this green candle right here. And so obviously, if this confirms lower than the previous green candle open, that would actually technically form a new lower low in the candle closes, which basically means we'd have to reconfirm the bullish divergence, which is why we don't really have a lot of confirmation right now, because that will technically very quickly invalidate. So overall, I'm not really confirming this bullish divergence. We don't have enough confirmation. We ideally need to see the higher low confirmed a little bit more in place in the daily RSI. But if we do end up seeing a little bit more confirmation with just maybe 1 or 2 green candles confirming in the price, in that situation, history could repeat. We could potentially see a little bit more of a breakaway relief from the bearish trend. Once again, we're still clearly within a bearish trend, forming lower highs, lower lows, and in fact, this trend is accelerating in the momentum, which is why I've been saying throughout the video, expect a lot of weakness, lacking bullish momentum. But if this confirms, once again, we don't have a lot of confirmation right now, but if we see a little bit more confirmation, we could see just a short-term break break during the bearish trend, kind of like what we saw last time, mostly a sideways consolidation, obviously some choppy sideways price action, short-term bullish and short-term bearish price action, but overall that was a little bit of a break from the bearish trend, but not the end of the trend. So that will be likely if we first ideally see a little bit more confirmation, but overall in terms of the larger trend or the larger price structure, still obviously looking bearish. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, right now the price of Solana is further breaking towards the downside. Obviously we already confirmed that 2-day candle close and also daily candle closes below this previous area of support, which was sitting in between roughly 143 to 147. So now that we've broken below that area, this is now acting as resistance, because in fact over the last 1 day, 1 to 2 days, we did come back up to actually retest that area, and so far we're struggling in that exact area and currently seeing a slight rejection from that area, which is bearish price structure, flipping previous support into new resistance. And so if we see any sort of little bounce here again in the short term, expect a lot of resistance once again in between roughly 143 to 147. That is now an area of resistance, and above that expect a lot more resistance at close to 170. And as for the next point of support towards the downside, if we ultimately continue this bearish trend, which is quite likely considering we just broke below a key point of support, if this continues, then we could find some support potentially at around 135, give or take, based on this candle close low right here. But the next significant support is really in between roughly 124 to 127 as an area of support to watch out for based on this Fibonacci level, and also based on previous support in the price in between roughly 124 to 127. And once again, overall, the larger price structure, the larger trend, still currently bearish, still forming lower highs and lower lows. So keep that in mind. We only just broke below an important area of support, which is another bearish signal pointing towards a continuation of the trend. But remember, just because we're in a bearish trend, that does not mean everything's bad, everything's losing money. We can make money during bearish movements using things like short positions, for example. Once again, check out the exchanges using those links to take advantage of those bonuses if you want to trade these moves, even in the bearish direction, making profits in the bearish direction. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, and right now we're still playing out the massive bearish divergence on this much larger time frame here, as we have been doing over the last multiple months. Since basically end of July onwards, we've been playing out this significant bearish divergence as expected. Of course, you can even watch my videos back then at the end of July, early August, warning about this massive pullback, multi-month pullback. That's what I said back then before it happened, and pretty much no one believed me when I was talking about this massive pullback coming soon. But now obviously it has been playing out as expected back then, and is likely going to continue to play out. We have no sign of strength right now on the weekly time frame. Continue to expect a lot of weakness, lacking bullish momentum, most likely for a period of weeks, but potentially for a period of months. So once again, this is on the larger time frames. This is not a short-term signal. Expect a lot of weakness, larger pullback for quite possibly a period of months continuing. And if we're taking a look at the daily XRP price chart, obviously we do have that previous bullish divergence, but at this stage we're just about invalidating the previous bullish divergence that already played out nicely for close to 1 week, with a bit of choppy sideways price action and then a slight little bullish relief as we broke out above this previous golden pocket. But then we got very close to this point of resistance at roughly 260 to 270. As soon as we got within just 1 to 2 cents of $2.60, we started to turn around at close to that resistance. And then of course, now that we've broken back below this golden pocket here, sitting in between 230 to 240, this is now acting as resistance. And of course, that's another bearish signal, basically starting to invalidate the previous bullish divergence. But we're possibly forming a new bullish divergence, or extending the previous bullish divergence, if the price first breaks below the previous low, forms a lower low in the price in the candle closes, and then of course if we reconfirm another higher low in place in the daily XRP RSI. And so obviously right now, as of recording this video, the RSI is still currently sitting in higher lows, while the price is almost just about breaking below the previous lows based on the candle closes on the daily time frame, which means it is possible we could form another bullish divergence, or essentially extend this previous bullish divergence. But once again, we need to see more confirmation in order for that to actually confirm and start playing out again with just another shorter term relief during the bearish trend. Because remember, this is not always a trend reversal signal. In fact, a lot of the time it just results in a bit of a short term relief, and overall the larger trend is still currently bearish. And as for support, we're running into a possible point of support right now at close to $2.20, but if we continue lower, the next significant support is at roughly $2.05 to $2.06 based on this Fibonacci level, and also based on a lot of previous support around that area. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, it's a pretty similar situation for Chainlink. Obviously, right now we're essentially extending the previous bullish divergence with another lower low in the price in the candle closes. That's already been confirmed in the price, and another higher low currently forming, but don't really have a lot of confirmation confirming the higher low in place in the daily Chainlink RSI. So ideally, we need to see a little bit more confirmation here with a little bit more of a bounce like this in the RSI to actually start confirming this bullish divergence on the daily Chainlink price chart. And if this reconfirms, essentially extending the previous bullish divergence, once again, it means we're most likely going to see just a little bit of a break or short-term relief from the trend, which means either sideways consolidation or a slight bullish relief. But once again, as I've been saying this entire time, don't expect a lot of strength, don't expect a massive bullish reversal out of the bearish trend based on this alone, because overall we're still in a bearish trend, forming bearish price structure, still showing a lot of weakness and lacking bullish momentum. So even if we see something like this confirm and start playing out, that's likely just going to be a shorter term relief during the larger bearish trend. At least for the next few weeks or months, we're still obviously showing a lot of signs of weakness in the crypto market. But of course, this can present a lot of opportunities in the market as time goes on over the next few weeks and months. There can potentially be some major opportunities, which I will continue to share here on the channel, which is why it's important to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos. And as for support and resistance for the price of Chainlink, expect a decent amount of support at roughly around 1330 to 1350, and a lot of resistance in between around 1520 to 1570. And of course, we have other points of support and resistance, but those are the immediate levels to watch out for. And of course, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, no matter what the price is doing, check out the links below the video to those exchanges if you want to claim the massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.